Fatman's interesting in that this is a script that we first crafted 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And every subsequent year since then, we've revised the script, worked on it.
Tried to make it better. I think it's a testament to never give up. We started with, what if this was a real person? What would he really be doing? What would his plight be? And we sort of tried to borrow from the plight of today and the social commentary of the day, and craft a real human being that would connect with people and their problems and our problems.
And while it has evolved over those 14 years, it's surprising for me how much of those issues are still really relevant and really timely still.
Or even more relevant than they were 14 years ago. They really have kind of bubbled to the surface as, after the 2008 financial crisis, the housing crisis, the jobs crisis.
Yeah, and now that we find ourselves in the midst of a pandemic, everybody's, economically challenged and going through their own troubles and trials and tribulations. And
here's the cut to Kris Kringle. We were at a screening of Hacksaw Ridge back in, I think it was 2016, when that movie was making the rounds. And he had this amazing beard because he was shooting Professor and the Madman with Sean Penn at the same time.
We didn't know
unbeknownst
that. We just thought he was Sean Farrell.
We just thought he was sporting this beard, and we thought, that's Kris. There he is, right there.
That's the guy.
That's the guy. I get this email in the box that says, "Hey, I really love the script. Let's go for a chin wag," and I'm like,
"What is a chin wag?"
Well, first off, what is a chin wag? I write back, because there was no sign off either.
Yeah, awesome.
So, I went, amazing, thank you. So glad you done the script. Who is this? And he wrote back the next day, oh hey, sorry, I forget to do sign offs. This is Mel. And I went, holy. Because I knew we'd gone out to him, but I just wasn't expecting a
personal email back.
Personal email.
Yeah, and I think Mel, when he landed, he told us, I think this guy reminds me of an old cowboy. And that was right in sync, in step with what Ian and I had envisioned for the character.
He really exuded a lot of those characteristics just, externally as a human being that we'd written in there. And it just felt so good when he started in the role. I mean, Mel makes very masculine movies. He is a very masculine man. But he also is a bit of a teddy bear on the inside when it gets down to it. And he really cares.
Yeah.
Really cares about the work that he's doing. Really cares about the individuals that he's working with. And it shows. Even in negative 36-degree weather during the shootout for 4 days, he just would not leave.
Yeah, which he did, and it was amazing because it was such a great gesture of solidarity with the crew.
Yeah, he's like, you guys are out here, I'm out here. Yeah. So that was pretty incredible. Yeah, we had a really great time working with him. He went above and beyond while shooting, and then afterwards he was just really involved and really cared about what we were doing.
Mel Gibson was the consummate collaborator. Honestly, couldn't have had a better working experience with him. We learned a few tricks from him. He was so generous with his own knowledge and expertise, and bestowed countless nuggets of wisdom to us.
Fortunately, he really enjoyed the film, and we said, well, if you have any thoughts or refrigerator moments, please let us know. And it took about 36 hours, 48 hours.
And he called back and said, okay, I watched it 3 times. And I see a couple things. That's literally what he said.
Yeah,
I see a couple things.
Just a little things. But he also said, which was amazing, he also said, if you don't want to take any of them, don't worry about it. I enjoy the film the way it is. I think you guys did a great job. I'm really stoked with it. Don't feel obligated to take my notes, but I certainly would. I would take the opportunity, if you guys were game, to sit down with you and go through the film and maybe point out some things. And we said, hell yes.
And Mel came in there and he spent the entire day with us.
Yeah.
Going through the movie, combing through the movie. And
it was over 9 hours of just going through it. And we would just talk through every scene.
It was a really amazing collaboration and a really beneficial refinement to the movie.
Yeah.
We're finding Kris at his most vulnerable, right? This is a man who's disenchanted with his job, disenchanted with the world. He's lost. And
leaning on his wife, heavily as she supports him and props him back up and builds him back into what he should be.
Yeah, she's the catalyst with which he redeems himself and finds his spirit again.
Yeah.
Marianne Jean-Baptiste
plays Ruth in the film.
Plays Ruth, and we're so thrilled to have her. She's so perfect for the role. And I remember when we came to Mel with the idea, and we're like, hey, what do you think about Marianne? He's like, oh, she's amazing. And
he was also really excited, which we were really excited about. We pitched him keeping her accent.
Yeah, which is what she asked us.
Yeah.
She told us.
She said, what do you want me to do, standard American, or is there a region? And we were like, no, we want you we want your London accent. And she's like, really? We're like, yeah. She's like, okay. And then she thought about it for a second. She's like, okay, that's pretty damn cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and we love the idea because it makes the whole thing more international, you know?
Yeah, which is what Mel was after as well. He was just like, oh, that is awesome. Like, it gives these two so much history. Where did he meet her? You know, it creates this backstory that I think is really interesting for those two. Not only is it more inclusive, but it's never commented on in the film. And that was another thing Marianne was really excited about when we were talking to her about the role. She's like, you know what I love? I love that as I'm reading through this, there's no comment on her being black or that she's, you know, portrayed a different way in the media or anything like that. You know, which we loved as well. We thought that was a really fun thing that it just is. And this is Mrs. Claus. She did such an amazing job in that role. She and Mel are so good together. They're so loving. She's the backbone of the operation, whereas Mel or Santa is sort of the face and the spirit and you know, and the feelings behind the holiday. But Marianne or Ruth is logistics, support. This guy couldn't get off the ground without this woman.
In Fatman, we wanted to shy away from everything and the conventions of the genre of a Christmas movie.
But
right?
also give a hint to, or maybe flip your idea of what that is at the same time.
Exactly. So you're not going to see the sleigh flying, right? You're not going to see reindeer flying. You're not going to see Santa delivering presents, right? It was like, okay, let's see everything between those scenes. That's what interested us.
And we were having fun with giving people little tidbits of magic about the character and about the myth of Santa, but also sort of really pulling back and trying to make you sit in the reality of where this guy's at and who he is and what he's doing and how he's affecting people, without getting too caught up in the goofiness of it.
Yeah. Also with the character of Billy, is that we didn't want Billy to be so one-dimensional, right? He's just not the bad kid who's bad for no reason, right? We wanted to give him some motivation. And for us, that came through the neglect of his father, you know, right? So a lot of his nefarious acts are motivated through his wanting to get his father's approval, who's absentee, and therefore he's acting out.
You really need a kid that has a lot of range and a lot of gears and can turn them quickly and understand complex emotions and thoughts quickly and be able to you know, stand up there with juggernauts like Mel and Marianne and Walton,
yeah,
and swing back.
Well, the hitman in Fatman, you know, the one that Billy hires to execute the contract to collect the Fat Man's head, that was played by Walton Goggins. And we were so blessed to have him on this journey.
Man, he came out swinging every time. When it came time to find our skitty man, our hitman, Walton Goggins was right at the top of the list, man, and he was so amazing in the role.
You're introduced to this nefarious guy who's, you know, whacking people in their bedrooms, and then as his story unfolds, now you start to see the baggage, right? He's from a home where he has, you know, domestic abuse. You know, someone's putting cigarettes out on his arm, and you realize, you know, you might have a little empathy for this man because you can see how he became who he is.
In the final shootout, you finally get to see not only a showdown between the two main characters, but you also get to see, you know, it's a guy really far down on his luck, Santa, who's kind of let the world down to a certain point, who has let this kid down in a certain way.
Who's let a hitman down.
Who's let a hitman down, who's a child who's become a hitman. And now this hitman, harboring all this hate and injustice, in his understanding, comes for Chris, and you get to see that it's a very personal vendetta that brought this man on this journey.
When you get to see Chris and Walton engaged, now you understand that there's a limit to what Chris can do, right? That Chris can't fix everything in the world, that he has limitations, and whether those limitations are self-imposed or they're the rules with which Santa Claus has to operate in the world, we know there are limits to what this man can do, and it breaks his heart that he can't fix everything in the world. It's like, what can we be doing every day?
It poses the bigger question.
Yeah,
absolutely.
To make the world we want to live in a better place.
Yeah, and I think if everybody, or most people, went out with that thought in their mind, or even try to break it down to something simple of like, how do we start every day with just trying to, you know, improve life for other people, be kind to someone today, or try to, how do I, instead of reacting a certain way, how do I come off in a kind way rather than a negative way. That is absolutely what we would like to say with this movie, is that you need to take action. You need to be for what you believe in, or how you believe society should be, or how you believe people should be treated. You need to take action personally and
go and manifest it
one by one, if that's what it takes.
I feel like Ian and I, as collaborators, have become more and more dysfunctionally codependent over the years. And I think we're blessed that we're two different people, and we have we have different strengths, you know? And so
an oddly similar enough taste.
Yeah, and I think that the taste, we synthesized our taste like growing up watching the same movies and sort of geeking out about it.
The most important thing is that we're on the same page, and going through all those levels, right, of us just initially discussing what we want to see, and then writing it down, and then storyboarding it, and then we get to this point where we're out there, and I'm face to face with an actor, or Esham is face to face with an actor. It's 99.9% we're saying the same things we were saying to each other throughout that entire process. So that's why it seems we're synced up, because we are.
Yeah, and we've been tested. You know, actors have pulled one of us aside, asked a question, then, you know, on the down low, gone over, grabbed the other one, asked the same question.
Got the same answer.